Hey guys, Opie here. Welcome back to my Brew City garden. Hey, I just wanted to give a real quick midweek update. I'm a working stiff like most people, and I get a lot of overtime this week, so I don't have a lot of time to spend making videos or even working in the garden for that matter. But I got a few minutes this morning, and I just want to show you what's going on around the garden and get ready for the big weekend coming up. The weather's supposed to warm up into the 80s, and I really expect to see the growth in the garden explode. I just want to show you a few of the things that are going on, some of my successes, how some of the things are going, and some of my failures so far this year. And we can remedy all of that. The beautiful thing is it's still early in the year, so if we've got any major problems, we can just literally start over. So that's not a problem. This weekend I'll definitely make a longer video and go over a lot of things in the garden that I've been wanting to take care of and some things that I want to show you. So for now, let's go see what's going on out here. So with the cooler weather we've been having this season, I really didn't expect to see any bean sprouts for at least another week or two, or at least until it warmed up, and it's still been in the 70s and even as low as the upper 40s at night. So to see these bean sprouts come up so quickly is really a testament to these used bales or last year's bales. They really seem to increase my germination rate a lot. So I've got a lot of bean sprouts, but it looks like I've got another problem. So it doesn't look like the birds or the squirrels were an issue this year, but if you take a close look, the tops of these sprouts have been eaten, and that's indicative of rabbits. That's right, rabbits. They're not dumb. What they'll do is they'll just eat a little bit off the top of each plant and let it grow back so they can come back and feed again. So it looks like I've got little furry cottontails coming around here and munching the tops of these beans off. I'm not sure just how big of a problem this is yet, but I'm sure I'll come up with a solution. But I'm really happy to see them up. Just hope they, hopefully I can keep them alive long enough to actually form some vines. So a good portion of my cucumbers have germinated and come up through the bales. Everything's looking good. I got a few empty spots, which is not a problem. At this point, I could either reseed or just use the seeds that I seeded into the seed tray, the backup plants. So everything's looking good here. The squash plants have come up well. It looks like I've got 2 seedlings here and 2 here. In this bale, I've got 0 seedlings. So again, I can either reseed or use the backups that I put in the seed trays. And in this bale, I've got seedlings up. So I'll have to come back and thin these out. As I said before, squash, you only want 2 per bale. Otherwise, they're just going to get way too crowded. But looking really good nonetheless. Peppers are looking great. And I expect with this warm weather coming up, these things are really going to start taking off. I'm really happy with how well these things have held up to the cold this season. And it looks like they're going to do just fine this year. But this little guy, he's a goner. So this weekend we'll go find a replacement, maybe something exotic or something really hot. I don't know yet. We'll go to the garden center and we'll see what we can find. No big deal. The tomatoes in the bales are all looking fairly healthy, not too bad. Again, it's been cold, so you know, what can you expect? I do have a couple of losses. This guy here, it's not looking good. I had a plant right here that's succumbed to a root rot or a stem rot of some sort. Again, we can replace it. I'm not worried about that. This guy here is even getting a little tall, so I'll have to start putting strings up just to hold him up. Otherwise, I'm really happy with him. So here are the 2 bales that I've been talking about putting Swiss chard in. And the mushrooms have decreased dramatically. There's still a few, but I think it's safe to plant my seeds now without any real issue. And what I want to do is test this weekend I want to try to push some of the charred seeds into the bale like we did with the squash and the cucumbers. And I want to top dress some other seeds and see which ones do better. So we'll do that. We'll start that experiment this weekend and see how that progresses through the season. Brussels sprouts are looking really good, really healthy this year. With the strange weather patterns, they really seem to like the cooler weather. So I really like what's going on here. Some nice growth, just really healthy, really beautiful. I don't see any cabbage moths or any damage. So I like what I see here. Ground cherries looking beautiful, just beautiful in this spent straw. I couldn't be happier. You know, if you haven't tried ground cherries yet, these things, I'm telling you, they're so worth growing. These plants are so easy. And the little sweet berries, the little husk cherries, whatever you want to call them, oh my Lord, are they good. They are so good and everybody loves them. So if you haven't tried them, get you some seed next year. You won't be disappointed. Would you just look at the growth on these tobacco leaves? These things have gotten just giant, and it's still fairly cool for the year. But look at the size of these leaves already. Isn't that awesome? And these things are going to get tall, and these leaves will get huge and just big, beautiful white flowers. They really are a pretty plant to grow, as well as being utilitarian. The yacon is doing well considering the weather. Everything looks good there. Our potatoes are starting to explode out of the old straw. Everything's looking pretty good back here. I do have kind of an empty row right here. I'm not sure what's happening, but we'll keep an eye on it. I think these are just coming up a little bit later than the others. But otherwise, boy, everything looks pretty good here. And guys, check out my bucket tomatoes. These things look better than pretty much anything else in the garden at this point in time. Thick stalks, nice and healthy. I think this weekend I'll be ready to top dress all these buckets with the spent straw. And I think these tomatoes are really gonna yield well this year. All right, guys, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what was going on in the garden. It's just a real fast, kind of choppy video, but I didn't want you to think I forgot about you guys, and I wanted to show you what's going on because things are just getting ready to explode, and I'm excited about it. I love this time of year. This weekend, we'll get the watering system set up. We'll do the little chart experiment and see how that works out, and we'll cover a lot more things. It looks like I'm gonna have to resow my carrots. Oh, I can't believe it. But those mushrooms, I think that was the problem. The mushrooms, they came up and they just buried everything and they pushed all my seeds aside. I'm coming up with some ideas to mitigate that next year. And I've got some thoughts on how I can do that. If you've got any ideas, please leave it in a comment below because I'm kind of stumped on this one. Carrots have always been the bane, you know. It's like, I just can't get them to work a lot of times. So we got to figure out something as far as that's concerned. But no worries, you know, we'll make something happen, even if I got to put them in a garden planter or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's all I've got today. And make sure you join me this weekend, and we're going to take care of a bunch of things. I'm glad to see you. Have a good week. Don't work too hard if you're working this week. All right, guys. We'll see you.